Hello. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of BigSky Seed Potatoes After Hours. As you can see, we are cultivating and rolling some ground in preparation for our planting of sunflowers, which is what we're going to see if we can accomplish today. I did do a bunch of this cultivating off camera, so we just have a handful of rows left here. So we will go ahead and clean up that screen for you guys and let you know what we are pulling, and we will go from there. So we've moved the 7/28 Fendt over here to our 30-foot sunflower cultivator and roller. As you can see, we've got a fair bit of rocks on here. I am going to just plant our sunflowers right into these rocks, and we will worry about getting them the next time around. I know that's going to create a little bit of damage on our equipment, but in the essence of time and good content, we are just going to skip the rock picking for now. So we've got our pivots here, so we will put our sunflowers in without fertilizer. We will just plant them as they are, and we'll go from there. So I will leave you guys here with a bit of a montage and time lapse to start our episode, and we will catch you guys when we're done cultivating. Alright, come back here. We're going to button up these ends. We have to do these ends even though it looks like they've been rolled. As you can see, the roller gets left in the work position when we make that corner, so we'll have to run through and just sew up these ends here a minute. And as we get done with that, we will return this machine to the dealer because we did just lease this for this field. And after that, we will continue on. So let's get back to the music. Alright, so with this end done, we will slip on down to the other end, and we will catch up with you guys when we are finished up there. Alright, coming back here live again. We are just finishing up this cultivating and rolling for our sunflowers. So we are going to go ahead and finish this up. See if we can get out of the field without too much trouble here. We will fold everything up, and we will see you at the shop. Pulling into the store. And we'll go ahead and drop this stuff off in the spot to return equipment. Hopefully both of those are still in the spot there. We'll jump out of the cab, cruise over here, and return this, and return this. Perfect. Jump out of there, and we will cruise over here to the store. Pop in here to the salesman's office, see what we can do for renting a planter. So I'm thinking then the 40 foot, that one's 9 and takes 100. We might be just under horsepower with this one, but I would like to give it a try. Don't need a license plate on it, and this one is going to be that 12 meter range. So it should be pretty close to what we're after. So I think this is the one we're going to go with. We can work with 7,000. Let's just hope we got enough horsepower. That's going to be our next question. So we will run this up to the farm once we get it hooked up. And while we're at the farm, we will also get a little bit of diesel fuel for this tractor because we are running just a skosh low. So let's get him hooked up here. Alright, pretty Kenzie blue with Fent black. This is a sharp looking rig. So we will see you guys back at the farm. Alright, coming back here, we are going to get this baby folded and put a little of our seed in there. Oopsies. This is a tall planter. Did not realize how tall it was. Okay. So we first going to jump over here and get this relined up under the hopper since we knocked it out of the way. And we're also going to raise it up just a bit. Okay, there we go. We got it underneath. Let's jump over here. Get it back underneath. Whoops, cutting that hitch just a little tight. Let's try to get that lined up just a little better, huh? Yeah. This is BigSky blunders. Okay. Let's pull ahead just a skosh and see if we can unload. Perfect. Yes, of course. We gotta get our Oops. Let's jump out of here. Hoping we can unload into here. We'll see. The way my luck goes, probably not, but we'll take a chance anyway. Let's see if we can. Okay, we've got it loaded. And we are going to cruise over here to the fuel station, put a little bit of fuel in it, and away we will go. Now this fuel station is painfully slow, so I may not have you guys stay here for that whole thing. So we'll catch you guys back when it's full. Okay, we have got fuel in, we have got seed in, we are ready to go planting some sunflowers. We will cut into the field just on the other side of our, looks like our pivot met with a windstorm again. Wind is always hard on stuff, so hopefully that will straighten itself out when we go to fire it up. So let's get going on this planting, and we may pull up our HUD here for just a second while we find which row we're going to start on. Oh, we got to let it finish folding. There we go. Alright, so we've got the wind fired up. And this is where we are. And we're going to get lined up straight. And we will start planting. Get these first couple of short rows out of the way here. And actually, I think that next one we should be able to... We might have to just lift up and drive around back to the top to catch this one, because that one should go actually all the way through. So that is kind of some of the fun we run into with pivots, is that it creates some short rows for us. Not a problem, just creates a little driving through the field that we were not prepared for. So not the end of the world, just another thing that we will work through. So this row should take us all the way to the end. Get us nice and set for it. And our GPS is active, so we are okay there. And we are just going to seed right through the little point here of our pivot. Now I think at a 40-foot planter, we should be able to make these corners, but we may end up skipping a row each time. And we've got that row right on the edge of the pivot parking place, which is what we want, which works well for us. So this is another mod that this is a base game planter that I have not used a whole lot. Being BigSky farms, we generally go for the big stuff. But this is a nice little 40-foot planter for us. So we are going to try. See how these sharp corners go. We might be skipping a row. So, tractor did not handle that corner very well, lifting that wheel up. So we are going to go ahead and drop you guys into another bit of a time lapse. We'll check in with you here after a little bit. joys of GPS, we can skip a row each time and come back and infill. So we'll work our way across the field, skipping a row, and then we'll come back and infill, so we'll end on the same side of the field. So that is kind of the plan for now. As we talked about in our live streams and in previous videos, we are going to alternate sunflowers and potatoes. They seem to go very well together, and the sunflowers have a decent return. And until we get some debt paid down and a little bit more money made, we will continue just to lease the cultivator and the planter for our sunflowers. That seems to be a little bit wiser choice. Hindsight being what it was, and looking back, we did bite off a little bit more than we can chew here with the amount of land that we have. However, that is some of the equipment and some of the infrastructure we need are just minimums that we need for potatoes. So we are just going to soldier on. We may have to pick up a few contracts for maybe some fertilizing or some spraying to get a little cash flow to get us through the summer. Right now we're sitting okay. So that is where we're at. So now that you guys know the plan, we'll sit back, do a little bit more time lapse, and catch you guys in a little while. Okay, coming back here after that little time-lapse montage, whatever you want to call it, and we are just about to drop under 50% for our planter fill. So once we do that, we are going to start working our way back the other way. And that should get us, well, the way it's looking, we're going to run just short of getting everything dialed in right there. Working our way back in filling. So that's what we're going to try to do. Is on this one, we'll swing it just a little bit wider, and we will start backfilling, and that way we kind of keep it a little bit more even across the field. Works a little bit better with our emergence, and also if we get rained out, we don't have a whole bunch of stripes of this stuff coming up at different times during the growing season. So that is what we are going to do now. So we are going to go ahead and work our way back across the field, and you guys can again sit back and enjoy a little more laps.
You're chilling in the rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, 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 oh,
Taking a little break from time lapse in here, fill you in on a little bit of what's been going on. Did just receive a very interesting phone call from the dealer. They have somebody that is interested in a Fendt combine, an ideal combine, and they knew we had one. That's, for all intents and purposes, not going to get a whole lot of hours. So we may be able to trade that in, get something a little bit different, and pay off a little bit of debt. So that is something that we might be working on, a deal for them. We've been kind of going over the books, and looking for some other ways to generate a little bit of income, because those payments on that big loan were a little bit more than what we were anticipating, and commodity prices were not quite what we were expecting. So we're looking for a few other ways to do that. So As you might remember from a couple episodes ago, we did get rid of the grain platform, since we really don't have any grain acres for that. So that's something that we're going to be looking at, and trade that combine in on perhaps a different combine, or something else, or even a different tractor, and then we would lease a combine to harvest our sunflowers. That might be a little bit better way for us to go. So those are just a couple of the options we're going to be looking at. Like I said, it was kind of one of those interesting phone calls that you get from a dealer that you weren't really expecting. So that is something that we will be looking at in the coming episodes. And we've increased our potato acres. We did run into kind of an interesting dilemma on that field number 1, down in the very corner. Some of that did not get worked under, did not get plowed up when we were plowing it there. Did a little bit of off-camera work trying to get that area plowed, and was able to get some of it, but not all of it. And so it's going to be interesting when it comes time to plant in that corner, how that's going to work out, if it's actually going to plant, or if there's something underneath the map that is causing that little corner not to work. So will be interesting when we get there to find out what's going on there. So yeah, those are kind of some of the things we've been working on in the live streams as well. We've got our Umatillas planted, and now we just got to get lined up, and we can start planting some of our Clearwaters, and then we'll plant a field of russets, and it will be kind of finished up for us for potato planting. Most of that is going to be done in the live streams. And one thing I did forget, if we've got enough time in this episode, is that we will go ahead and get some fertilizer distributed out to these pivots and get them going. I think I've got an idea of how to get that done. And so we're going to work on that as well this episode if we get enough time. So just wanted to give you guys a little bit of breaks on this. Been hitting the time lapsing a little heavy this episode, so just wanted to take a few minutes and chat with you guys here, let you know that I'm still back here, still rolling along. So just enjoying playing the game, enjoying making some content for you. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. From the responses I'm getting, it looks like you guys are slowly but surely enjoying it. So you guys are enjoying it, we will keep making it. And just checking here, everything's looking good there. This little 280 horse Fendt has been handling this planter absolutely perfectly, running right at that 10 or 11 mile an hour mark. We did get the high speed options on this thing, so we can run at that 10 mile an hour mark, and it's been handling it great. No power issues, nothing like that. So I guess the final story we'll tell when the crop comes up after we've got it fertilized, and see. Hopefully everything looks good on that end, but I don't see any issues that would prevent us from doing that. So we are here going to make another corner. So let's get lined up here again. And potatoes I'm pretty good with. The corn and soybeans and sunflowers into row crops, not quite as good at. So my headlands won't be as pretty. So that'll be a little bit of a challenge when it comes to harvest time. But shouldn't be too terrible of a job for us to get this all harvested up and everything. So I've come to really enjoy actually harvesting sunflowers. They're pretty fun to harvest, so you can go fairly quickly and get a lot of acres covered in a little bit of time there. So This growing season for the potatoes and for the sunflowers should be a very interesting one as we progress through this seed potato series. So a couple of other things we're going to be doing is we're going to be building that sorting facility. Now that I've got a couple of issues ironed out on my end, as far as doing a little bit of tweaking on some capacities for some mods, we can get the ball rolling on that deal, and hopefully be able to speed that along and get it to kind of to where I want it to be there. So that's kind of where things are looking there. Hopefully we don't tag the pivot here with the planter. Ooh, perfect. Alright, some of these are not lined up the best. We just kind of go with it, hope for the best, and away we go. So just a couple of passes here, and we will be finished up with this end of the field, and we can run back and get a little bit more seed and get that taken care of. So after looking through this field and driving across it, we probably would have been money ahead to have it rolled or at least rock picked. That is something we'll have to get used to in our crop rotation, our field prep, where that's going to fall for some of our other crops. It's a has-do for the potatoes. We don't want to bruise them or cause issues at harvest with rocks. So since we had that tied up over on the potato fields and the rock picking there, that is kind of a time suck for us, as well as putting lime down. So we just want to get all of those things sometimes taken care of off camera if we can, because they are kind of labor intensive and a little bit tough to automate sometimes. So and this should be this will be our last pass up, so we should be about out of seed when we get back to the other end there, and we will fold everything up, run back to the yard, and get filled up with seed. So I will go ahead and finish this pass up, and we will see you once we have refilled with seed and are ready to start on the other side of the field. See you then. Okay, so we've got the planter filled up again. We're ready to head back out to the field. So we'll jump in. Fuel is good. We maybe should repair the tractor a little bit. Or the planter, excuse me. I wonder. Tractor's about the same. Front weight, yeah, so it's okay. It's not perfect by any means, but it is okay. So we're gonna go ahead and pull away. That GPS turned off there. I'm gonna go ahead and fold up the planter. And we didn't really watch this previously. We just kind of done it on the fly, so it is kind of neat to see this mechanic working in the game. So we will head back out to the field, and to do this in a little bit different fashion, we are hopefully going to make this corner. There we go. Excellent. We're going to go ahead and go all the way down to the other end of the field and get started and work south to north, and that'll put us finished up in the middle, which is kind of unique, but we can button up the ends and get that to work. So we will get lined up there. We can just stay using our same GPS line. We'll see how close it gets us to the edge of the field there, and then we'll get the ends buttoned up and we will be done. And that's probably going to take us to about the end of the episode. So we will catch you guys when we get closer to the middle and being done here. Wow, that was a rough edge off the pavement there. So let's get that unfolded, get the GPS back set, and got that lined up. And we're going to go ahead, and I think we're probably going to hit this sign. That sign is very well planted in the field, or in the roadway there, or the ditch. I guess it would be the ditch. So we're going to go ahead and start in this corner. Fire up turn our GPS on, and we'll be ready to drop the planter in the ground. And we'll see how good we are here. Nice flex in the planter there. We are gonna have to, looks like, do that same thing we did before. And actually, we can jump over one pass here. We're gonna take this one down, because we will need to do a partial pass over here when we catch our headlands. But this will infill everything just a little bit better. And hopefully everything will line up well for us on the other end. I don't want to shift this line around until we are done, just because it will goof up where we meet in the middle of the field there before where we stopped the time before. So let's go ahead and get this time lapse rolling here, and we're going to finish it up, and we will see you guys when we're in the middle. Okay, coming back here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that time lapse. I know I enjoyed bringing it to you. So we are going to pick this guy up here and get lined up with our partial row here, which we're just gonna freehand and kind of overseed here just a little bit. We will have to make sure we get the planter over just a skosh. There we go. Excellent. This should be able to get us just squeezed by the end of the pivot there without major damage to the pivot or the planter. Which is going to work out perfect. Then we can slip over and catch that other open spot that we skipped on the other pivot there. And then we will be able to finish this field up, button up the ends, and we will be done. So we can just hang out for that part. We're going to leave that opening there just a little bit. Or that little edge piece of the field there. Plant right through the grass. Thanks to the great mechanics of the game, we know we won't have sunflowers growing in the grass like we would in real life. Okay, so we're going to pick the planter up, shut off the GPS, take our fair share of the road here, and we are going to get lined up. And I think we're going to adjust our GPS and drop this baby in the ground. And we might have to nudge over just a little bit so we don't hit the pivot. We should be okay. We're going to want to lean over just a little. Make sure we stay well away from our pivot edge. Alright, I think that should do it for us fairly well. Oh yeah, that'll be really nice. So we are going to have a bit of a bigger gap there. May not be able to get all filled in there, but we're going to be okay with that. So did not do the best job in getting this landscaping done for where our pivot parks, so we might have to adjust that a little bit this fall. But it'll be okay for this spring and this season. So, first year with having pivots on, we're excited to get these babies filled up and rolling. We're definitely going to fertilize, and we might do a little bit of spray herbicide with them as well. So again, we can borrow the neighbor's field here to get turned around, which we are very blessed to have great neighbors that allow us to do that. So let's get going here and get this in buttoned up quite nice. It's going very well. We'll see you guys when we get down to the end. Alright, coming up on the end of the field here, we did have a little mess with our GPS there that we did sort through. So we're going to have a little bit of a gap there. That is just the hazard of it. So we're going to use the highway here, and we'll pull up just a little bit further, and we'll pick it up. And since not a whole lot of traffic is going this time of day, mainly because we have it turned off, we're going to sneak we're actually going to have to drive over what we already planted, because otherwise we're not going to get this 40-foot planter through between the fence and the pivot head. So okay, so we'll get this guy lined up over here, get our GPS shifted over. We want that shifted to right there. We'll get the planter back in and lined up right where we need it to be. Should be pretty nice. Excellent. I'm just going to check, move our line over just a little bit here. That's where we want it. Okay, we'll get rid of that. And there we go. And with our pivot being there, I'm not sure we'll be able to sneak under the edge of the pivot there. So we will give it a shot, see what happens. There's always going to be that one spot in the field, and that's right here where you hit the lever and drop the machine in the ground a little too quick. That's what happened there. So we'll pick it up here. Again, not ideal to be turning on what we've already planted, but sometimes life has a habit of working out that way. So we will get this finished up, then one little spot on the other corner there, or on the other end, and we will be done. We're going to slide nice and close to the tractor here. And I think we'll be able to sneak the tractor underneath. And now, alright. See if we can get this moved around. And I think we're going to end up having the same kind of an issue over on this end with our being up against the pivot. So we'll set our GPS line, we'll button these guys up, and we will be good to go. You can see when we rent that cultivator again the next time with the roller, we will have to do a little bit of adjustment with our GPS, because it looks like our roller was not quite as wide as our cultivator, so we got a little gaps there every once in a while, as we saw throughout the field. So if we worked the last time, we should be able to just sneak under the pivot this time. We know just the right spot to stop, which is right there. And let's see. Turn like so. And those rows actually do line up pretty well. So we don't need to back up against the pivot. Or, yeah, we won't need to back up against the pivot. So we are going to call this a wrap on sunflower planting. We do appreciate you guys riding along. If you're liking what you're seeing, please give us a thumbs up. Feel free to comment on what you'd like to see in the future. And if you're new to the channel, just finding this video, please feel free to subscribe. Click that bell, helps find me back, and lets you know when I put up new content or do a live stream. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.